just want to record here so that I can send the sound and this video to our media friends wherever they are. And I will give you an indication when to start within the next 5 to 10 seconds. Right, it seems that we are ready to go. Ladies and gents, good evening from Brisbane then. It's Australian time for our team announcement press conference with the Springbok head coach, Jacques Nienaber, who will now announce the team to play against Australia at the Suncorp Stadium on Saturday. Thank you, Jacques.
Thanks, Ray. Good evening or morning, whatever it is in South Africa. Good evening for the people here in Australia. Yes, the Springbok team for the second test against Australia at Suncorp there's only 3 changes. The first one is Trevor Nyakane will start at loosehead. And then obviously with him coming in, Stephen Kitsoff moves down to the bench. And then the last change is Marvin Ori is in at 5 lock for Lua de Jager, who received a concussion in the test match. So yeah, that's the only change. Other than that, it's the same team that played the first test.
Thank you, Jacques. Short and sweet. Right, ladies and gents, if I now can ask you by a show of hands, if you can just indicate if you want to ask Jacques a question. So while you gather your thoughts and process that information. Right, I see Tinus, you up. So firstly, over to you.
How's it, Jacques? Just want to know, what do you lose by Lewitt's absence, and what do you gain by Marvin's inclusion?
Obviously, the thing is, Lewitt's experience, I think, is the first thing that will come to mind in my head. Lewitt has played 50 test matches, and Marvin, I think, has only played a handful, you know. So that is the first, probably the biggest thing, is that we lose experience there. But in saying that, Marvin is an experienced lock. He's got a lot of first class and Super Rugby caps, and he's been in that position. He played with Eben from schoolboy level, or at the same school at Tygerberg, so they know each other well. So probably experience, but more than I mean, that's why Marvin is with us on the tour. We trust him as a player, and looking forward to see what he can bring to the party.
Thank you, Jacques. Craig Ray, you're up next. Hi, Craig, can you hear me? Okay, we move on.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. You can go ahead. Thank you.
Sorry, Jacques. Hi. Last week you said that the team was a little bit flat after the, was one of the reasons that, they didn't perform as well as you thought. Have you put your finger on why that was?
I won't say flat. Did I say that after the press conference?
Something along those lines, but maybe I'm...
The thing is, I thought our discipline was poor, and not poor in the sense that we conceded more penalties than Australia. We didn't concede more penalties than them, but for our standard, the fact that we have only conceded 1 try, I mean, obviously and we scored 3. So obviously they had kick at goal, 21 points, which is 6 penalties, and I think 4 of them was offsides penalties. So that's what I mean by ill discipline. An offside penalty is such a especially if you only concede 1 try. I mean, I understand if you go offsides because they put you under pressure, but not that we weren't under pressure. In some stages we were under pressure, but I felt there was some offsides penalties that we conceded that it wasn't called for. We were in control. We were still in our system. So I would say that was poor for me. And so that's one big thing that we addressed. I thought our first time tackling wasn't as good as what it should have been. And then Yeah, that was probably, and the other department, I thought our kicking game wasn't where it should have been. We conceded 6 points just purely on exits out of our half, which we had the ball, which we conceded penalties from that, which is not like us. So that for me was below par as our own performance. I didn't know the detail. Obviously, after the review, I can say with more detail what was wrong, and obviously we worked on those things to fix that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Jock. Right, Hans Schenk, you up next.
Goeiedag, Jock. Jock, I just wanted to ask. Dion mentioned yesterday. I mean, regardless of what anyone feels about how the scrums went, and how the decisions went, either way during the test, that's done and dusted now. But he talked about the importance of still, maintaining communication with referees and communicating with yourselves to sort of like get an alignment on what picture you guys are seeing and what picture the refs are seeing, that the key lies essentially still, in just finding alignment. Has that process been a bit rushed, this week, given that it's shorter, or do you feel it's been quite productive how you guys have conducted, where you guys might have gone wrong, at the set pieces?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, we've got a framework that we work with now, which we probably didn't know. It's the same framework they used in the Six Nations. And obviously us not playing any rugby before the Georgia test match, we weren't 100%, we didn't know what the process was. But yeah, no, we make our clips like we normally would do, and that would go out. Ours went out on Monday. It will be the day after the match, obviously, after our review, and it went through to Joel from World Rugby, and they will review it. They reviewed it, and they came back to us. Yes, and that the purpose of that is to get alignment from our side, and obviously, if discipline was poor. And it's nice to, and everybody makes mistakes. We make mistakes. Referees sometimes get things wrong. You can't get everything right. But let's say a player conceded 3 penalties and then 2, the referee will come back and say, yes, yeah, that was maybe a 50-50 call that could have gone the other way, or maybe he wasn't offsides, or he didn't transgress, or we could reward him there at the breakdown. Then obviously that will influence selection. You will look at the play and say, okay, listen, you conceded 3, but they came back and said 2 of those weren't. When they have now all the angles and look at it, probably a play on would have been a better call. So obviously that influence selection, and that's all we want from coaches and from our team's point of view, is to have clarity on the first, or let's say test match on Saturday or Sunday. Monday, do our review. Referees do their review. We align on the Tuesday, so that when we select the team, or we start talking about team selection, that we don't nail a player because we thought because of his discipline was poor. If it comes back from a referee that, listen, we might have a better option there would be play on. A long-winded answer, but yeah, it's to get alignment with the referees. And it wasn't rushed this week. It's the same. We want to get it out of the way as quickly as possible, so that when you go into the week, that alignment is already been achieved between us and the officials.
Thank you, Jock. Right, Phila Sander.
Thanks, Ryan. Hi, Jacques.
Hi.
Wanted to find out, how far is Cheslin Kobe from full fitness? I know he's missed the second test match as well. Thank you.
Yeah, he's he ran today quite well next to the side of the field and kicking and stuff like that. He's not a guy that we will rush. Obviously, we will wait. He hasn't done any team training yet. So, and obviously, the moment he's got full range, full strength, happy with his running, and the physios and medical team are happy with his gait while he's running, his strides and all that things that they look at. then obviously we'll introduce him into team trainings, and then it will be a return to play protocol that we normally follow within our team. So currently he's in the return to training. The moment he finishes that, and he can start joining us in team training, then his return to play protocol will start. And like I say, Cheslin is an experienced guy. Our medical team is an experienced medical team, so we will take guidance from them. But hopefully, and all we can do as coaches is hope that he will be available for next week, and obviously the week after. We wouldn't have kept him if we don't think he will be ready within the next 2 weeks. But again, in saying that, rehab is a funny thing, that you build, and the moment the player, the load is too much, and he gets pain again, then you'll probably step down a level and you start building up from there again. So it's not something that you can say injuries is, listen, he's going to be ready on that day. Projection will tell us that he will be available for selection within the next 2 weeks. But yes, it's up to his recovery.
Thank you, Jacques. Adnan Mohammed.
All right, thanks, Ray. As a Jacques, just your thoughts on Trevor coming back at Lucid and what he will bring to the Springbok scrum.
Yeah, Trevor obviously brings nice experience, and Trevor he played Lucid for us in that Argentina Test match as well. But then he sustained an ankle injury. I think he came off quite early. I think it was 17 or 20 or 23 minutes around about the middle of the first half. And obviously that was something that kept him out for a bit. But he's at full training, full fitness, so we can throw him back into the mix. And I think we all know how Trevor played for us Lucid in the British and Irish Lions as well. So it's nice to have somebody of Trevor back in the mix. He's getting close to his 50th Test match for South Africa. So I think that's something that he would be looking forward to. And so it's nice to have him back.
Thank you, Jacques. Justin Ford.
Thank you, Ray. Good evening, Coach. Just a quick question. In terms of the turnaround time, notably you guys played on Sunday and obviously it's Saturday this week. Is it still, do you feel enough time to correct, any wrongs from last week in order to really just go one up again this weekend against Australia?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not a 6-day turnaround. Was the same turnaround. We sometimes when you play on a Sunday and a Saturday again, you get a 6-day turnaround. Normally it's Saturday to Saturday, which is 7 days. And then sometimes you get 8-day and longer turnarounds. In the World Cup, from our Canada Test match up to the quarterfinal, I think we had a 12-day turnaround. And then between the Welsh, the semi-final and the final, we also had a 6-day turnaround. So it's not something that's unfamiliar for us. And we've got a certain week structure that we put in to a 6-day turnaround. So now we tick all the boxes as per normal.
Okay, we move swiftly on to Ashfaq Mohammed.
Thanks, Ryan. Hi, Jacques. Your lock situation with Nicholas having to leave and now Luat out, are you a bit concerned? Would Luat still be available for the All Black Test? And then also your bench configuration with the 3 loose forwards, you stuck with that with a 6-2 split there, and Shaw and Damien as the only backs. We know what happened last week with the goal kicking. Did you consider maybe bringing Elton onto the bench?
To answer your first question in terms of Luat, Luat sustained a concussion. And normally, if everything goes well in terms from your return to play from concussion, it normally takes 7 days. So obviously, because it's a 6-day turnaround, he will miss it with a day. And I'm sure he will be up for selection again for the All Black Test match. It's purely listen, it takes 7 days for a guy. Normally, they must be symptoms free, and then you start doing light training or light exercises with him. There's a whole protocol that you go through with the concussions, and it takes 7 days. But now it's a 6-day turnaround, so that's a Luot situation. Yes, we stuck with our 6-2 split, continuity. In terms of that, to think, we try and think as unemotional about team selection as possible. Did we secure the last breakdown and where Nick White stole the ball? If we had a better clean out there and maybe a better platform to launch off, it was our ball, and we kicked the ball out and we won the game by 1 point, and we would be smiling here. But we always look at it from an objective viewpoint. If we win by a point, we've got a certain a report that we go through, and sometimes we win games, and out of probably 12 big ticket issues that we look at when we do a review of our game, sometimes we get 4 out of 12, but we had a good 20-point victory, but it doesn't mean we played well. And sometimes we lose a match where we tick 11 out of 12 boxes. The only one we don't tick is that you win the match. So sometimes we play well and lose, and sometimes we play poorly and win. So we try and take as much emotion out of it as possible. And when we looked at it from an unemotional point of view, yes, nobody misses goals because they want to. Nobody knocks a ball on because they want to. Nobody misses a tackle because they want to. And if you look at it unemotionally, you say we could have won that test match and then nobody would have said anything, or it wouldn't have been a debate. Listen, continue, things work. I thought there was issues that we had to fix, and like I said, I thought in the kicking game, and unfortunately both is in my department, both departments is mine, the kicking game and the defense, and I don't think we were on song there. I thought we were off in both those two departments, and that's something that we worked hard on, and we have to fix going into the next game. But yes, I thought our preparation during the week was well in terms of that.
Thank you, Jacques. We'll probably take another 2 questions and then we'll move on. We say good evening to Jim Tucker here in Australia.
Thanks, Rayan. Jacques, Jim Tucker from rugby.com.au. One thing that seems to be being redefined in rugby is what old age is. You saw great value in Mornay coming back at 37, and he gave you a great value and still is. Quade Cooper back in the frame at 33. What's the balance of age, experience, I guess, in Test rugby? And was it what surprised you about Quade Cooper's comeback last weekend and adjustments you might make for this week?
I'm going to answer the second part first. Is what surprised me? No, nothing. He's a quality rugby player. I always thought he was a quality rugby player. I was coaching the Stormers back in 2011 when he was him and Will was running riot there with Queensland. I still see the same traits that I saw back then in him. Always nice as a defense coach to measure yourself against the quality of somebody like Quade. I think he's a lot, just from purely what I'm seeing. I'm not saying that he was immature in the past, not at all. I see a mature game. I thought he was, he managed the game well, and I think that's why Dave selected him. Because of his experience, his experienced guy, played over 70 test matches, and that almost leads into your first part of the question where you ask, old age, you pay when you get a new test player in. I mean, you can play as well as you want in club rugby. It's not test match rugby, and test match rugby is different, and it's something that you grow into. You make mistakes, you you get used to the pace of the game. Only after a couple of test matches you get used to the pressure of it. And Quade, I think he played 70-odd test matches already for South Africa. Obviously, he's been through most of it. So, I think in terms of your squad, it's always nice to have experience on one side, but also to get that energy and that how can I say it, that energy and almost mindfulness and playfulness from the youth. So I think it's always nice to have a good balance in terms of that.
Thank you, Jacques. Thank you, Jim. Right, we'll finish off the section with Stephen now.
How's it, Jacques? Nice to see you.
Hi, Stephen.
Jacques, I wonder, in talks with the referees, was obstruction at all a talking point? In particular when you chase kicks. That's obviously a big issue. It was also, I remember, I don't know if that's a New Zealand thing that slipped in because the Chiefs in the past also had that issue. So I just wondered whether you have addressed that.
Yeah, no, listen, we had addressed. We always, when we addressed stuff with the referees, even when we did it the week leading into the test match, we always try and figure out from a coaching point of view. I think the other coaches do the same, where the contest of this test match would be, and for us, obviously, we thought that would be a big a contest on both sides. Nick White and both their nines are actually good box kickers as well. So we thought from their point of view and from our point of view, it's going to be a big contest. And it was. I think Australia kicked more in this test match or the past test match that they did in the previous 5 test matches they played. So we thought that might be a tactic that they can, or obviously they have the skill set, even with Quade there, to go to that, So we thought it might be a big contest, and it's something that we addressed and just wanted to get alignment in terms of how they see it, how they referee that contest, because yes, as everybody, not all referees are the same in terms of how they interpret the contest and what they would like to see in that contest. And yes, and it's something that we just aligned again after the test match. And I must say the feedback and the work from them has been good, from Joel's side and from the referee side. I think there's good alignment. We will have another opportunity during the week to talk with them. I think we'll probably, hopefully on Thursday or Friday, we'll have a meeting with the referees again, and just to get clarity with our captain and our vice captain, talking to them and almost get a relationship going, so that when they meet each other on the pitch, it's not the first time that they will have a chat about certain things. So we definitely address that, and a couple of other things as well. Sure, as it would have, it's not unnatural for us. It will, the same thing will happen from the other side.
Thank you, Jacques, and apologies for the other people not getting to you, but we have to move on. They will get an opportunity to speak to 3 players. Jacques, I will now relieve you of the top table. Thank you very much, and we will pause for a few seconds, and then we'll get the second part of this team announcement underway.